Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaverse News. Here we go again. Meta World News. The sooner I change it to MBTV News, the better. Anyway, my name is Mal Burns, and I'm joined in the studio here by James Atlloud. James is the one who twiddles all the knobs. Fiddles with the knobs under the table so that he can switch between video of my desktop videos and me in one position, me in another, and forget it. We got a show to get on with. You know the routine. Hello, James, and welcome.
Thank you, Mal. Glad to be here. Great weekend with the Virtual Worlds Conference. So,
Yes,
nice to be
indeed.
back at a little more casual streaming situation.
Indeed. We'll mention the conference in passing, I think, as we go. But
Yep.
trying to run to a schedule today because in 1 hour's time we're live again with our in-world review program. So obviously there has to be a little bit of a gap, etc., etc. Anyway, my name is Mal Burns. Mal is the first word, Burns is the second word. But on the interwebs, like everybody else, I'm squashed. Oh yes, I'm squashed. I hate being squashed. Makes me feel like a virtual sardine. Anyway, on Twitter, it's twitter.com/malburns, MALBURNS, and also another feed, twitter.com/metaworldnews. Both of them are squashed together so they are one word instead of two. You get the idea. Why do I tell you that? Well, Twitter is the place to go to follow the links I'll be mentioning on the show. I'll be reading some of them out, but many of them take you to home pages of websites. So if you want to get to the direct article links, the best way is to pop over to Twitter and start clicking there. Right, okay, well, without further ado, I've got a couple of pictures to show you, which have nothing to do much to do with anything, of what we normally do, as it were. Um, People protest about anything, don't they? I've got a picture up at the moment of somebody who wants to normalise sitting in VR. I don't know whether this was an April Fool or not. I think it's a protester from something else, and they've bleached out the cardboard and put some text on it. So it's looking at it full size, low res, a bit odd. But this
Mal,
one's a
the
killer.
image is low for me in the stream. I wonder why.
Oh, um, well, it's on
Hmm.
the okay on the in-world screens. It's
Yeah, it looks fine. All right,
on
I'll see what I can do here to fix it
oh,
up.
I'll move on to the next one. That may help cure it or
Okay.
something.
No, I'll have to do some work in the background. Sorry.
All right. Okay. Well, I shall come back to that later, then when hopefully we are done in the background. Okay, this is a big full screen one anyway. This is simply on is it Wednesday, April 6th? I can't. Yeah, I think that's April 6th. Part of the Exile Women series with Paige Dansinger. She's the founding director of the Better World Museum, and she's going to be giving a thing from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30. Oh no, sorry, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, and 1 p.m. Eastern. And this will be on in Vibella, which is a nifty little world you can get into very quickly on the web, should you wish, or you can download their browser for a slightly better experience. So that is on Wednesday. Uh, this picture, second from the left here, is our friend Yvonne Henning, known as Inkenzo in her avatar. I'm not sure who the others are, but she was in Dubai all this week at the World Government Summit, where she actually gave a talk to the World Government Summit. That's impressive, isn't it? About the open metaverse and stuff like that. So yeah, there she is posing second from the left, and yeah, jolly fine pose it is too, with a bit of pixels added. Okay, warnings in the I have no idea what that is. That shouldn't be here. Okay, moving down a bit. This picture is an empty theatre in I think it was in Second Life, but I'll mention this again later. But Virtual Cultures is a brand new sort of 80-minute film by Drasta Dupre, looking at basically Second Life in similar places and how people used it and cope with it during the pandemic. Not that the pandemic's over, of course, but there you go. Also, a cartoon I kind of rather liked. I've said it all before, really, but you know, people will go on about their crypto, or as I now call it, crapto. You want to buy some crap toe? Anyway, what do you pay for? You get a certificate that says you own the fart. Wherever it is, you own it, and it's unique. It's the only fart like that anywhere in the world. And you name your own price. Would anybody? You bet they would. Right. Okay, I don't know how James is fixed on the pictures front now. This is the last of them anyway. You've no doubt heard, you've no doubt heard of a Steven Spielberg film called Ready Player One. And you may wonder why I'm just showing you that picture. Well, I never knew this until it was pointed out in the week. You'll notice there's a scribbled line running through the Ready Player One logo for the film. And now apparently that always was, and nobody realised, a maze. You follow that line where the arrow is going in, and you can follow the maze all the way down to the middle of the O in one. I never knew that. So that's news. That's the news for you. That is cool, isn't it? Okay, pictures away now, and we're back to the normal web views. I don't know how this is faring on James' end. Right, so it's basically anything that's coming up to your picture monitor. Okay, well, fair enough. Oh, I see what you mean. It sort of slipped down the. All right. Well, I, yeah, yeah. I'll talk. You fiddle. So sounds like a fair compromise, doesn't it? Right. Okay. Well, basically, the site I got up here is scarghost.com, SKARREDGHOST. We begin the week always here with the Exile Week Peak from the Scar Ghost. And he's reporting from GDC and a few other places. He also mentions that Snap have acquired NextMind. Don't think I've featured that this week elsewhere. But this is basically all the week from all the news from the week before last, not the week we're on at the moment. I did forget to tell you when we started that this is the 3rd of April, and these are the news headlines for the 3rd of April. Oh dear, 1920. Is it 2022? I don't know where we're coming or going today, really. 1922. Right. Yeah, 3rd of April 2022. That's the news headlines for this week, and from me, of course. And yeah, I probably missed a few other things, but who knows? Anyway, this is the week before that, so it's a good roundup. You can always get them from Tony Vitillo here at the XR Week Peak, which he publishes every Monday. So if you go to scarghost.com again tomorrow, you'll probably get a brand new summary. I'm putting that one. Oh, you're looking better now, I think. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Um. The week before last, I was over in Vibella for a sort of a number of people, including Philip Rosedale, were giving sort of speeches there on the future of work online and stuff like that. They'd actually the Handson 22 summit was all part of that. But this post actually only came out this week, which basically they've redone their whole campus there. Those are the pardon me. Anybody who was in there for the Handson Trades summit would have seen it already. But basically, it's the same sort of layout, but they've revamped it all, and it's very easy to teleport between, the reception or the auditorium or workshop rooms and everything else. All the links are available in the top corner of your viewer or browser, as the case may be. So anyway, they've announced that they're updating everything, and this copy of the announcement is at arpost.co, arpost.co. Moving on. Skull Ghost again. Actually, we might even be able to cue the sound effects right now. I don't know. Oh, very faintly in the background, I hear it there. Yahoo! Right. South by Southwest, he was at it. And also this week, he was at it again. It was the week before last, but his post came out on 26th. When was that? Monday, Tuesday as well. This is basically his hands-on reviews. Volume 2 he calls it, because he did do one last week, which was Volume 1. Just looking at stuff he saw at South by Southwest, including Maze VR, Beat Day, The Sick Rose, and that's it. But there's a few more added on here as you can see. He loves writing this, guys. There's plenty of it. Only Mega the Stallion. It's still weird. Weird name for a female pop star, I must say. She's been popping up in metaverses here, though. I keep reading about these rock stars who are starting their own metaverse. There's about this corporations, and sort of. I need metaverse PR, and the company does. I say, "Oh, we've got a metaverse officer. If he's any good, doesn't seem to know what he's doing. Well, he doesn't know what the metaverse is, but Sick Rose, yeah, that was something for the Vive port. Apparently very good, but I'm not going to play it. We haven't got time. But anyway, Scar Ghost again, SKARREDGHOST.com for that little roundup. Right. Now, this one, the post is at cnet.com, CNET.com. And well, it's very familiar in Britain anyway. Dyson, I forget his first name, but he revamped the vacuum cleaner market a few decades ago now. And, sort of noise cancelling, bag free, not dust free. Nobody's invented a dust free vacuum yet. You've got to get the dust in somewhere, haven't you, and empty it. But anyway, this is an odd one. He's moved into the headphone business. He's packaging some noise cancelling headphones and a personal air filter. That's like the vacuum guy, all into one product. And I don't know. At first, I laughed about this, but maybe I don't know. But the only thing here is if you add on headphones of some sort, which I can't see, sorry, a headset, there won't be much left of you peeking out, will there? Especially if you've got a smell-o-vision thing up your nose. You've
Right.
got to put it under this. And then the headphones that come in the headset will be getting away with those headphones. I don't really know. I mean, actually, all I can think of is that might be a nifty. Apparently, this is a bona fide air filter. So, if you're worried about pollution when you're out and about listening to your music and taking a run or something, that might be the kit for you. It obviously doubles as a face mask over the nose and mouth. It doesn't include any virtuality stuff. So anyway, so Dyson's best known for its high-end vacuum cleaners, but this is their first foray into wearable technology. And it's called the Zone, and it's a set of noise cancelling over-ear headphones that simultaneously deliver immersive sound to the ears and purified airflow to the nose and mouth, addressing urban issues of air quality and noise pollution. No word yet on pricing.
So this wasn't released on the April 1st, was it?
No.
Okay.
It was April 3rd.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no. I meant to say that at the beginning. Obviously, Friday was April the 1st, and one had to approach everything with a great deal of caution.
A bit of caution.
I think I've got a couple coming up which are definitely good April Fools. So there you go.
All right.
Actually, in many ways, the funniest thing about yesterday and this weekend is the number of sites actually having to go online to explain that their post was not an April Fool. Such is the prevalence of the April Fool on the web. It's almost lost its meaning. It's almost lost its meaning now. But anything that sounds a bit not instantly believable is assumed to be an April Fool's joke. So this one isn't, and yes, I think this is one of the ones that had to post a link saying this is not an April Fool's. Anyway, you'll find this actual roundup of it at cnet.com, SESNET.com, and that was posted today, in fact, although the news was earlier. Right. Okay, another of the sort of what they laughingly call the metaverse platforms, one of the big ones actually, is Roblox. And they've taken a critical step in the march towards making the metaverse part of people's daily lives through natural and believable avatar interactions. And basically, they've got real-time face animation. So there you go.
There you go.
The face animations is pretty accurate, but I'm not sure about the avatar. What you need is an avatar that is already playing me and looks a bit like the guy who's making an ass of himself on camera. But anyway, they now do have it, and they give you a little bit more information about it all there. So if you want your avatar's face to warp warp, whatever. Go to Roblox, but you'll have to put up with pen in the arse avatars, I'm afraid. Right, moving on. This is a post at Medium, and it's from none other than... Oh, sorry, it's not. It's the first of two. This is from somebody called Meta Katie. And, yeah. I don't remember Meta Katie doing the Metaverse Manifesto, but she or he has done part two, looking at interoperability. Yeah, I recognised the previous one. It was part one was we're already in the metaverse. Yeah, so this is a kind of look at interoperability, all very interesting. Sort of get quite a lot of info there, a bit of opinionating too, etc. But sort of good to see somebody's actually looking into things and writing, fairly, not in depth, but all sorts of articles about that, so to speak. So you'll find that this one, to get to the actual article, you will have to follow the link in Twitter, twitter.com/Mal Burns, but the article itself is at medium.com, but that's all I can tell you from the viewer I'm in at the moment. medium.com. Right. Moving on down to This Week in XR. This is Charlie Fink's weekly roundup of things over at Forbes.com, Forbes.com. Talking about Enreal AR raising money from Alibaba, Mojo Vision, Live raises money. Most of the individual things he mentions here, I have other posts about on the Twitter feed. Not all of them, because our scope, shall we say, is a bit different. He's got a lot of stuff on outdoor entertainment, the stuff. You probably know that a few weeks ago McDonald's decided to go to one of the metaverses. I believe it's probably the Zuckerberg metaverse, but anyway, following on from that, a bit behind the times is Wendyverse. Wendy, in this case, being a meat burger place that they are doing there. There was what or should have been an April Fool's joke, except it was actually a couple of days before April Fool's. I haven't got it here, but there was somebody announced a new platform called the Foodiverse. I'm not joking. There is a new platform called the Foodiverse. It's basically a virtual world that's all about food, but virtual world is probably the wrong expression. They clearly don't really know what they're doing. They just obviously thought there should be a metaverse for food. We'll see. Maybe it will turn up somewhere. New technology Walkers VR introduces the Legverse. Well, this is an April Fool, and I've got a copy of this, but it's 12 minutes long. It's actually a wonderful takeoff of announcing a new metaverse platform called the Legverse, and the great thing about it is Tony Vitillo just goes on and on about things. He overdoes it, but not in a boring way. And of course, he actually got hold of a whole lot of people that we know, like Orion Bar from Ore site and stuff like that, and he incorporated them into the gag. So it really looks like a launch with lots of people popping up recommending it. And it's just so well done. Anyway, Tony Vitillo made the announcement after drinking heavily in the early hours of April 1st. People are so unhappy with Meta's legless avatars in Meta Horizon Worlds, we decided to provide an alternative. The legless avatars reportedly escaped from the YouTube video above. They're now running around Web3 looking for the NFT that will enable them to merge with their legless bodies to form a memberless DAO. And, it was wonderful stuff. Anyway, that's at Forbes. That is Charlie Fink's Roundup of the Week, his sort of text roundup, that is. And just put away what I've already covered. Here is the other April Fool's joke that I rather liked. This is a site called dzene.com, DEZEE.com. And they reported that the metaverse had suffered extensive damage in a riot at a virtual art gallery. Now, this could almost be plausible because, the virtual art galleries involves bitcoins and trading and stuff like that. So you can imagine, think of 30s Depression era America where the banks collapsed and all your money's gone, No, there were riots, because people worried about money. So, but anyway, this was clearly an April Fool's joke. I mean, I love the expression down the officers dressed in virtual riot gear stormed a private view at a cyberspace art gallery after neighbours complained about noise and antisocial behaviour.
Ah,
God.
that's
But this
wonderful.
causing damage to NFT objects worth billions of dollars.
Hmm.
But this is the bit I like at the end. Around 30 avatars were led away in blockchains in what
Ah,
is thought to be the first e-police raid in the parallel digital world known as the Metaverse.
very good.
And then there's some funny things about how the NFTs could be worth even more money than expected. Anyway, that was a good one. So well done, Desi. I know it's out of date now, but there you go. April Fools does tend to finish really quickly. DEZEEN.com for that one. Right, moving down. Now, Voices of VR. This is the latest one. But I think there's been about 10 this week, quite frankly. And I'll tell you what I'm going to try and do while we're on air, if I can, is scroll down my own Twitter feed on the other side of the screen where you can't see me, and see if I can find them all. I did actually tweet them all in one fell swoop, so to speak. So, there. Right, better move forward again. I think so. Wimpy. Sorry. Well, anyway, the latest for multi-perspective LiDAR time-lapse art with ScanLab projects. This is Kent Bai's podcast. I mean, it's about over one a day this week, making up, I guess, for lost time the other week when he was away at one of the conferences. I'm flipping here today, and I'm just trying to see if I've got a tag anywhere that shows me the actual subjects of the other ones. But there's been so much this week. It's a long. Oh, here we are. I found them. Right. So earlier in the week, we had number 1072, which was the first. This was looking at Amaze VR's 10 City VR concert tour with Megan Thee Stallion. 1073, Liminal Lands with a VR fine artist, Jacob Kudusk Steensons, I believe, with his unique approach to environmental storytelling. 1074 was Celine Tricart's South by Southwest keynote on storytelling. 10 by 75 was Stereoscoping Composite Innovations. 1076 was Live Ballet in VR with interactive dance auto tunes. That was interesting, actually, and there's still pictures as well. 1077 is Black Ice VR, a sci-fi horror piece experimenting with switching between third-person and first-person point of views. And 1078, which you can see there, which is the multi-perspective LiDAR time-lapse. So a good handful there. To get them all, you want to go to voicesofvr.com, VOICESOFVR.com. And that site is available on just about every podcast platform you can think of. So if you subscribe to Voices of VR as a podcast, you would have seen all these filing in one after the other in the latter half of the week anyway. So always good stuff, that. Right, so moving on. Right, PCgamer.com. This is a curious one. Philip Rosedale getting more mileage at the moment. It is a new article. It's not a rehash of the other ones. Philip actually tweeted it himself this morning. The creator of Second Life has lots to say about these new metaverses. Indeed, he does. And Philip can genuinely record the metaverse pioneer, blah, blah, blah. And he's taken the metaverse boom, or bubble, in good humour. But as you'd expect, he's sceptical that blockchain evangelists and the rebranded Facebook have the answers to questions he's been thinking about for decades, etc., etc. So it then goes on, plug for his Twitter account there, and chatting about it too. A little bit about Brad Overwager is the actual new, well, not new, but these days is the executive chairman of Linden Lab, who bring you Second Life, of course. So yeah, a bit Second Life here, really, in focus, but still to the point. But sort of been there, done that, and we can say up yours, can't we, to all these newfangled people coming along. So you find this at PC Gamer. pcgamer.com, pcgamer.com. And, right, looky here. Right, okay, another site called refinery29.com, refinery, and then the number 2, the number 9.com. And they're talking about virtual avatars being poised to be the new trendsetters. This is really looking at it from the point of view of fashion and everything else, but it also brings to the point that, as well as decentralized Second Life, Fortnite, etc., sort of as fashion extensions, there've been avatars, in the fashion business using the Sim for quite a lot of time, even despite the grainy options for design-worthy clothes, etc. But this is looking at the way people are actually able to use virtual worlds to create fashion that is wearable in the real world. Well, once it's been manufactured, that is, but also wearable as an avatar for PR purposes. It's one of those industries that goes two ways, goes both in and out the diverse. This is the other site that was at medium.com, meduim.com. But again, to get to the actual link, you'll need to follow my feed on Twitter. But this came out of the blue, and it came out. Now, this, if I remember, I saw this on April 1st. But then, with a bit of investigation, concluded that it's not an April Fool's joke. Maybe he just thought it would be funny to announce it. Tony Parisi is one of the key people in the development of the metaverse. We featured him a couple of times recently on video keynotes and stuff. He's been working at Unity for the last 5.5 years, but he's left basically at the end of the month, at the end of March. Well, it says today was my last day at Unity, and I think the date on this was probably the 31st rather than the 1st of April. But he was there to help accelerate the company's expansion beyond its core gaming business into, other areas. There he is talking recently. The OR, and he's recognised the screen there from OR. Alas, good things must come to an end. It's been a wonderful ride, but it's time to say goodbye to my Unity family and return to where my tech career kicked into high gear, the metaverse. And the siren called. And he doesn't really, well, clearly he's got a pretty good idea of what he's going to be doing. He's back to the greater metaverse, but he talks got a lot there, but I mean, there's no direct indication of exactly what he's going to be doing. But basically, that's his public announcements. And, when somebody of his ilk changes position, it's not just a sort of tweet to say, "Hey, I've changed jobs, mate." quite a major move on story there. Right, moving on to Horizon. Nothing to do with Horizon Worlds, by the way. Horizon magazine. It's Horizon HORIZON .scienceblog.com. I'll leave it to you. I think you can work out spell science blog, can't you? Right. Therapeutic digital gaming and VR to level up treatment for addiction. Again, this is looking at European Union scientists who are tapping into the virtual world of video games and smartphone apps to help better self-control in addiction recovery. This is quite interesting. Too long to summarize in the time available, but if you're interested in the way VR is being used, this is headset VR in treating addiction and things, be it minor addictions like addiction to playing chess, for example. That is an addiction, just as online gaming is an addiction. But also, obviously, there's things we think of like heroin and those kind of drugs, which are addictions too. So it all links together in the ways that people's need to be addicted to things basically is can be modified by using VR or give it. It's behaviour modification, but treatment of sorts. Anyway, so you find that at horizon.scienceblog.com. And moving down the list here. Right, psypost.org, psypost.org. And again, this is a similar subject. Virtuality can induce mild and transient symptoms of depersonalization and derealization, a study finds. So this has been the Computers in Human Behaviour report. I'm not going to say no more, but it's like the one before. If you're interested in this kind of stuff and research, interesting take on things there. Right, moving down, and right, that's it for the links immediately
Yeah. Okay.
at Twitter. So, um, okay, I've got some more there, but it's in the Metaworld news bit, and I'm going to be holding that back to a bit later. Lastly, the link say I'm going to jump forward to my Mastodon blog, which you all know by now probably, mastodon.social/@Metaworld. And lots of them this week. Drasta de Prey has this full, nearly an hour and a half movie out called Virtual Cultures. This is released today. There's a trailer from earlier in the week, but this is the full thing. You can click through and watch it at YouTube, or you can watch it here. Charlie Vink and Ted Shilowitz have got this was actually Friday's edition, but it's only the video ones only came through today. So that's their roundup. And Virtual World Best Practice in Education conference happened during the week. James and I were sort of involved in filming some of the main strands. I presume the other strands are up somewhere, but most of them were actually posted the week before it happened, and they didn't get posted again yesterday or the day before. So the only ones I've actually got are the ones we're involved with, but there are other ones too. So if you go to YouTube and play and then go to the VWP page, you'll probably find the other ones there too. Basically, this was great. My friend Leah Lobo, otherwise known as Cynthia Cologne, she won the Thinker Award 5 years ago for services to education in virtuality or something. But she's just wonderful to listen to, and Phil and Carmel was sort of was sleepwalking into an interview with her, and it was absolutely wonderful, and she looked great too. Can't recommend that enough. Also, the Above the Book session was with somebody you may remember from this program and others, called Maria Goroloff. She was talking a little about the science fiction and a little bit about Open Simulator too, but nothing really we hadn't heard before, to be honest. They had some keynotes too. This keynote, the second of the two keynotes, Randall Sandler, was very interesting indeed. Obviously, you see his avatar, but you see slides he had behind him too, and he did actually have his own personal look back on the metaverse, as it were. And I think he started with a clip that came from 1935. So, you know, his idea of the virtual spaces or whatever in the look back sense was pretty extensive. So an unusual take, and sort of bringing us up to date. Okay, Above the Book is an interview with the guy in charge, not of Linden Labs, but of Second Life. His name is Patch Linden, and he's got a cute little elf-like. Sorry, well, my shoes just fell off here. Right, there we go. Don't know what did that.
Virtual shoe
anyway,
or real shoe?
No, real shoe.
Real shoe fell off. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I felt a bit cool around the old toes for a second. Right. Anyway, so this is just basically telling what's new at Linden Lab, but also in particular anything that resonates with the educators. And the opening keynote, I can't remember much about it actually. I mean, it was
It's
it
a
was
woman
very
from Ukraine.
of course it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did have a few interesting things to say there, but actually, I mean, I wonder if the connection there is why she was chosen. Her contribution on the actual side, you knew you were listening to an educator, not somebody who really talks to the public. But again, she did have interesting things to say about the current situation in the Ukraine. Of course, that's reminding me, James, because I temporarily forgotten that connection to that talk. Masses of other stuff from IEEE during the week too. Virtual humans and crowds in immersive environments. Another keynote from Paul Debevec. Another keynote. I'll leave you to look at these at your own leisure if you want to. First international workshop on extended reality and industrial occupational supports. A tutorial, build your own social virtual reality with Ubic. Tutorial, build your own. Right, that's good. Got that one twice, haven't we? Also this week, another edition of F Reality podcast, and one of the things they did actually look at was a roundup of the April Fool's VR jokes. Between realities again this week, their guest was somebody called Steve Knows, and I forget offhand. Well, very interesting actually. I forget exactly offhand who he is, but the talk was interesting. And of course, our favourite there, 3 days ago, VR download. Did you watch this, James?
Oh, sure. Yep, it was good.
This is, this is your favourite, I know. So I can't remember. There's been so much going on this week, along with all those IEEE things. I can't remember what I've been having. Just a good job I tagged them all here at Mastodon. And this one was much earlier in the week. CBS have launched they've actually launched a sort of metaverse reporting site. This is just looking at early adopters, and it's 6 minutes long. I can't actually. It's quite a good report, but apparently they're doing a regular slot on the metaverse as part of CBS News now.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite interesting. Workshop, sonic interaction in virtual environments. I hadn't finished with these, had I? First international workshop on socially intelligent virtual agents. That one's appeared twice. This is getting funny now, and even old. That's only 5 days ago. There's some that are even older still. Right. State of the metaverse discussion. There earlier. Oh, this was quite a good one. Metaverse history and the future, at a YouTube clip. And finally, Between Realities brought up their roundup of Game Developers Conference Day 4. That was over last week, of course, but Day 4 came a bit later. 6 days ago, this was great. A libertarian dystopia.
The year is 2063. The global currency is Moosecoin. You're refused entry into the Metaverse's Lambo Club because your Twitter profile picture is not enclosed in a nice saucerhedron.
Right, this is an hour and 40 minutes of wonderful stuff. It's not April Fool's Day. This came out 6 days ago, last Monday. And it's looking at the idea of Web3 or the metaverse, depending on how I look at it as being a libertarian dystopia. But, it's overkill all the way. And it's a great watch. It really is. More as IEEE. Just been see what I mean about 2 minutes. Oh, excellent keynote, Tim Dwyer was near the beginning of the week, and and then Between Realities again. So quite a lot for you to catch up on my Mastodon thing. You will find these links are also on my Twitter feed, because posts here automatically get posted to Twitter too. So you do actually manage to get them all in one place. And believe it or not, we're 40 minutes in to this news. So I did the pictures. I've done all my things apart from what will be coming up. Things on the hour. We're going to have an edition of the In-World Review where we look at a nice little grid, and we've got some guests and pictures to go with it, and we'll have a few news items at the top of that show. Meanwhile, I'm going to quickly load the video screen here.
Okay.
One bit we haven't got to yet. Now this is in fact Tony Vitillo's.
But until now in VR, this has not been possible. Until now, Forrest Gump.
So we're talking about a Legverse, and he's got all his guests coming in. And it's just a bit too funny, really. Okay. This is just over 3 minutes. Actually, I'll be able to make it without. What is it? We've got 5 minutes here. Okay, this is always in season in SL, and it's from the Peabody thing.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Olive. I'm the director and producer and writer of Always in Season, a documentary film that really looks at the impact of historic racial terrorism around lynching and what that has to do with the violence that's going on today, particularly with the case of a 17-year-old named Lennon Lacey, who was found hanging from a swing set in Bladensboro, North Carolina.
It looked like a back in the day lynching. His body will be hung in the courthouse square for all to see. All white folks are invited.
The idea for Always in Season Island came out of an understanding that, as you know, as powerful as film can be, it's still a 2D medium in which people are interacting with the screen. And I wanted people to really have an experiential understanding of what it was like to be at a lynching. As with the story of James Cameron, which is what Always in Season Island is based on, the 1930 lynching, double lynching actually in Marion, Indiana, of two young men, Shipp and Smith, and a third young man, 16-year-old James Cameron, really a child, was set to be lynched next, and they decided not to. And his story is that folks in the crowd said that he was innocent of the crime that they were being accused of. This history is so important in understanding our country now, and that there are things that we can do to really make the world more equitable and make our communities safer. I worked with a really stellar team, folks who were at the time really doing groundbreaking work in virtual reality and in Second Life. There's Bernhard Jacks, who's a machinima producer who was really invaluable. Tim Linder was the lead developer on the project and really brought on an incredible crew with Kyle French, who was at the time one of his students and has gone on to do incredible work since, and Azri Falcone, who is this wonderful Second Life developer who really has an expertise in outfitting and stylizing avatars. And so it was a really great gift to work with them alongside Marco Williams, the amazing filmmaker, you know, whose credits are vast and impressive, Banished and Two Towns of Jasper. It was great to have Marco's consultation on the project as we really worked to develop the prototype at the Bay Area Video Coalition. Our entire team worked really hard to tell these stories and were very thoughtful about it. And I worked with such amazing people. The subject matter is definitely intense and it can be really heavy, but there's also the love that you see when you hear these stories. When you hear the story in Always in Season of Claudia's fight for justice for her son, it was out of love and it was very difficult. And she navigated that grief because she loved her child so much and the other people in those communities. You understand with Always in Season Island, the significance of James Cameron's life and that it was spared and that he went on to live to the age of 92, I believe, in 2005 until 2005 when he passed, and did such remarkable things. It is the beauty of these stories that really drives me, and that is being acknowledged and honored by Peabody is just really wonderful.
Okay, so that's now one from the people who gave our the award last week, of course. Improbable, our backbone company. There's no such thing as Improbable Virtual World, but they provide the engine that's running a lot of the new so-called metaverse platforms. They were based in Cambridge in the UK here, but their office is now in London, and they're sort of behind the scenes company, but they demonstrated this performance, just 30 seconds of it, in this next video. So let's carry on with that. Next is a peace unity from the Ukraine. Yeah, so that's a platform called Spatialio. Yeah, on the web, it's Spatial, as you see there, then .io. I believe you can get that on a separate client and also on the web if you want it. But it's obviously an installation just for Ukraine. And yeah, and let's have a look at what the last bits are here. Smart context with Mio. Oh yeah. This is silent, but it's it says Mio there and Mojo at the bottom. I'm not quite sure. This basically is you're witnessing basically an AR display, somebody walking around, and this is welcome to.
Welcome to the metaverse.
Well, you get the idea.
Take a step inside of the metaverse. Lights, colors, shapes, and sounds. Imagination knows no bounds in the metaverse. Reality that's better than the original. Everything the same except it's digital. Look, there's a cloud, but it's a digital cloud. Look, there's a dog, but it's a digital dog. Look, it's words for men. You see outside car dealerships, and yes, you get it. He's digital as well. Are you not amazed by the metaverse? Yes, you can buy items in the metaverse. Digital purchase with digital coin, a digital realm with digital toys in the metaverse. It's like the Matrix, but it's way more boring. You'll be digital sleep, digital stories. In the metaverse, everything is digital. Computers and life are the same. You can see podcasts and eat NFTs, and racism still exists, but it's behind the paywall. Now you've seen it all of the metaverse. Speak of this to no one of the metaverse. The metaverse will blow their minds and destroy all mankind. You owe me $40 in the metaverse. In the metaverse. In the metaverse.
Okay, well there we go. No more of that this week, I'm afraid. There are some other films here, but I haven't got time to. There's another 5 minutes worth, so we don't
Thoroughly entertaining. That was funny.
Yeah, nice to go out with a bit of music as well, isn't it? So
Yeah.
there you go. Right now, we're about to close down, and we will be back live on the hour, which is what is it, noon Pacific today on April 3rd. And with the latest edition of our review program in World Review. So that's it for this lot. Any closing thoughts from you, James, on all the links and stuff today, and maybe the conference? Anything you want to get in before we collapse?
The conference was wonderful. It was great to attend that again, and I really am curious about the article you shared about changing the time scale. And so I'm going to have to go look into that because that's a subject that has interested me quite a bit. Do creatures, do animals experience time at a different rate?
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's fascinating.
Did I? No, I didn't include that today, did I? That was another one. Or did I? Oh God.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah. Yes. Very true. Yeah, I thought that was great. In fact, I mean, you take things like those horrible things like fruit flies. I mean, they live their whole life in just over a day.
Mm-hmm.
So some, although I don't think they got brains big enough for intelligence, consciousness stuff. It's, the scale of the organism is such that its lifetime, even though short, may to it be long.
Right. Yeah. Very, very good science fiction-y concept. Yeah.
Yeah. It beats the one where the alien. It's a favourite card, 3-page cartoon of mine too. The aliens come to Earth in their flying saucer, and they're all prepping themselves up in their flying saucer. They're going to conquer Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They land in a fleet of invasion, but by the time they reach the ground on Earth, they're no bigger than a beetle. And all you see is somebody come along and tread on it.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah,
Classic.
scary indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, we better get ready for our next week. We will not be doing this news next week. We'll be back in because James is off to Star Trek. He's gonna go and mix with Klingons and what's the other one?
Borgs.
The Borg, yeah. Don't you dare come back Borged, will you?
Okay, I'll do my best.
Don't let them absorb you or whatever.
Assimilate. Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Well, for a change of costume, you can come back with Venusian ears if you want.
Oh, all right.
So you can wear some Spocky ears.
Sure. That sounds good.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. But I may do a direct to camera news if there's a lot to cover as an experiment anyway.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So we're off. We will be back same time, same place in 2 weeks' time. Yes, I didn't fall into that one, did I? Mm-hmm. And yes, everybody, stay safe. Avoid, stay indoors. Avoid the plague. Avoid the nukes and everything else that's flying. Oh. S word included.
Not yet.
And yes, stay safe, everybody, and we will see you again shortly. And if you are so inclined, stay and watch us on air in a few minutes' time with the InWorld review. So, bye for now. We are. Bye for now.